What if? It's a question that each of us has used to challenge our own teams. Support organizations have asked, what if we could go and deliver support in 50 languages to go meet our global customer demand? Success organizations have asked, what if I could take my deeply personalized onboarding motion, but make that available for all of my customers? What if? It's such a simple question, right? Now, we have all come into technology services in one way or another. Some of us volunteered, and some of us were voluntold. But we do share a common bond. We share a deep passion to improve our collective customers' experience. And we've all asked, what if, at one point in time? What if I had a few more consultants or architects for that project? What if I had a few more CSMs or trainers or field service engineers? But often, financial constraints have made that what if a challenge. We don't have enough budget, or we really need to squeeze another point or two from our margins. But folks, you're in my hometown. You're in Orlando, Florida. And this is the heartbeat of where we think about amazing, and yes, sometimes even magical customer experiences. It was a Disney employee who once said, if you can dream it, you can do it. So I ask again, what if? What if we could go drive amazing experiences and accelerate our business outcomes? This is no longer a dream. We are doing it, and on behalf of 75,000 of my Ohana at Salesforce, I am thrilled to share our story, the Salesforce story using Agentforce. As part of our culture, we always start with a moment of gratitude. I want to thank our customers, our partners, our trailblazers. I want to thank each and every one of you for allowing us to be part of this community here at TSIA. At Salesforce, it always comes back to our core values: trust, customer success, innovation, equality, and sustainability. That also grounds our AI strategy. Our values are our commitment, not just to our employees, but to the entire ecosystem. And for 26 years, our core values have guided everything that we do, but it starts with trust. In this era of AI, companies operate differently. Some companies will take your data and make it into their product. We don't believe in that because we believe your data is not our product and it never will be. We are committed to delivering customer success that is driven by our innovation, and we are always working towards a more equitable and sustainable world. The customer success group at Salesforce spans more than 30 countries and 5 continents. We serve over 200,000 customers, and annually, we have 176 million touch points. But ultimately, what makes us special is our people. It's the thousands of customer success managers, support engineers, architects, trainers. Those individuals every day are focused on delivering amazing customer experiences. We take a very intentional and methodical approach on how we deliver customer success. Our goal is to improve our customers' health using Salesforce. We do that through a series of codified success plans offerings, and those offerings create differentiated experiences from high touch and hands-on all the way to digital and self-service. When those experiences go well, we forge trailblazers for life. Let's talk a little bit more about some of those experiences. Our technology stack is built to go and support those 176 million touch points. These touch points are delivered both reactively and proactively along our customer's journey. We invest in each one of these quadrants, and the blue circles represents the quantity of touch points annually. We offer tailored experiences for each of our customers, and we are so proud to showcase our own technology. We do that by being customer zero, and what that means is we celebrate the use of our own technology, and it really starts in the center of this slide. The purple logo is our data cloud, and data cloud is the foundation for Agentforce, and I'll spend some more time talking about that in just a bit. In our human-assisted roles, the heart represents our service cloud, and this is used by most of the key personas inside of our customer success organization, including our support engineers and our CSMs. Our Service Cloud instance we call Org CS, which stands for Org Customer Success. And finally, there's plenty of non-Salesforce technology that we use with our trusted partners, many of which are built on the Salesforce technology stack, which allows for extensibility and scalability. But even with all of that technology, our workforce, like many of yours, is overwhelmed. We experience limited capacity, burnout, too much time that is spent on low-value tasks. Our employees feel the pressure of building new skills, especially in this agent-enabled world. The reality is, though, our customers don't care. Our customers want the same experience that they've always gotten. And in fact, our customers want more than ever before. They expect zero hold time. They expect instant and empathetic service, on-demand experts no matter where they are in their journey. In short, they want a seamless customer experience. This is why we asked ourselves, what if? What if our workforce had no limits? What if we could scale to deliver experiences across any channel 24 hours a day? This is why we built Agentforce. Agentforce is our deeply unified platform. It combines agents, data, and extends across our customer 360, from sales, service, marketing, commerce, and much more. It helps our customers and our own team get value more quickly. It is the digital labor platform for limitless workforces. With Agentforce, we're bringing the power of digital labor to every team in our business and every workflow across the enterprise. It works seamlessly with our people. Our AI agents are creating something new. It's a digital labor revolution. We're pairing humans and intelligent AI agents. It allows us to scale our workforce because with Agentforce, it's not just about unlocking capacity. We're powering this new digital labor revolution. Now, when we retire, many of us will reflect back on this year, 2025, as last year that you only had a human-only workforce. We're bringing together humans and agents, and we're unleashing on-demand experts. But we're also powering a new differentiated experience that will fuel our growth. Let me share how we think about our own agent strategy inside of the customer success group. One of the most critical things is orchestration so that customers feel a singular experience. We have many, many use cases, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time talking through our use case on our support portal, the help.salesforce.com portal. But across all of our personas, like many of you, we've already started a deep roadmap, internal and external use cases. Just in our customer success team, we're exploring 75 use cases that we have in place. I also want to call out some research that Thomas covered even earlier today. He published it back in March. He called it the model-driven revenue engine. This is really important. As you think about your own agentic solutions, you not only have to think about internal and external, I'm sure many of you are automatically thinking of cost savings. That shouldn't be true. You should think this as revenue opportunity, an opportunity to grow as well. We think about this in a very similar way. As an example, we will have a renewals agent that is external and autonomous, and it will interact with renewals questions that allows customers to renew. They could add more licenses and make changes by directly interacting with Agentforce. So we talked a little bit about the why of the digital labor revolution. Let me walk you through the how and how we built Agentforce. Back in September, we announced Agentforce at our Dreamforce conference in San Francisco, and we went live with our use case on help.salesforce.com, which was our support agent, on October 11th. Now, back in September, when we announced Agentforce, our help website looked a lot like many of your support portals. It had a lot of content. You could browse, you could search, you could watch videos, you could even create a case. Our help portal receives more than 60 million visits every single year for customers that need assistance, from everything from resetting a password all the way to deep developer technical support. But we always heard two pieces of feedback. One, there was way too much information. And two, it was hard to find information in a quick and efficient manner. Now, as a first step to improve our experience, we implemented our Einstein bots, and that could handle a list of predefined tasks. As an example, if you needed to find training information for a particular product, the bot could go and return that information in a quick and efficient way. But it couldn't make personalized recommendation, which limited the usefulness. So if you needed to reset your password, we could do that, but if you ran into trouble, we would have to open up a support ticket and you would have to wait for a support engineer. So what we recognized was an opportunity to change the experience and vastly improve it. We also had an opportunity to change our business by freeing up support engineers' time. So Agentforce was our opportunity to redefine the support experience, giving our customers a faster, smarter, and more effective way to help. So what makes Agentforce different? Well, like our support portal, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can ask it questions in natural language, but it's an entirely new channel, and it's grounded in trusted Salesforce data, which ensures accurate and reliable responses. The other key here, it takes autonomous action. It's working on its own. Since we launched in October, we've had more than 650,000 conversations with an 86% resolution rate. The other key here is its digital labor. We'll walk you through the story where we gave it a lot of data and insight, but we have to train Agentforce just like you're training a new employee. So instead of onboarding a new employee, we had to onboard Agentforce. So I want to debunk a myth for you. It is true that AI needs data to understand your business, but you do not need to train a large language model, and you shouldn't. Retraining a model can be expensive, it's pretty complicated, and it's not really sustainable. For a lot of our customers, it's out of reach. And this is where we flip the script. We can bring data to AI without ever training the model, because the power is in the prompt or the question and instructions that you're giving out to the LLM. We can use the prompts to teach the LLMs about our business. There's a technique called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, to help search through structured and unstructured data. And RAG retrieves the right data from the right data source to get the value out of the LLM, and no training is required. The other consideration of data is across the enterprise, research shows that you can have more than 1,000 enterprise applications, but 71% of that data is disconnected. That's trapped data. But within that trapped data is trapped value. That's why Data Cloud is so critical for us, because Data Cloud connects every data lake. It unifies our structured, our unstructured data, and brings trust and governance to AI. Data Cloud is the foundation for Agentforce, because it's not just about managing the data, it's about unlocking the potential in that data. The first step to enable Agentforce was unstructured content. Now, here's the good news. In our support portal, we had a lot of that. We had over 740,000 pieces of content, including things like product documentation, release notes, knowledge articles. We hydrated that into Data Cloud. Then it was time to actually build the first agent. And I will share a little moment of vulnerability. We're all friends here. When we got the Slack at the end of last year saying we all had to build the first agent, I did what anyone would do in my shoes. I panicked a little bit because it's been a minute since I coded anything. Last century, I coded in COBOL, and I've experimented here and there, but it's been a while to say the least. But I'm very grateful to our technology and product teams because they made it simple. We have a tool called Agent Builder, and this is written in all natural language. There's no code. So people that are no longer or never were developers didn't have a problem. And even with all of our products and high volume of customer interactions we have, the Agent Builder made it simple. Now, one key area that we focused on was global instructions. You have to think about this like the tone and voice and how you're guiding the agent's world. An agent topic is a category of actions, and we'll share a couple of those in just a minute. And it's related to jobs that are to be done. Now, collectively, topics define the range of capabilities that our agent can handle. This is also where we built guardrails. These are questions that we didn't want Agentforce to answer. As an example, we didn't really want Agentforce to answer questions about our CEO, Mark Benioff. So we told Agentforce, if you get a question about Mark, point it to the investor relations website. So in total, our agent has the ability to take 8 different actions that we can use and combine to power the entire experience. But that's it. There's 7 topics, there's 8 actions, and that's what powers us. And for a company as large as Salesforce with so many products, keeping it simple was a very important and powerful decision. So let me simplify how this actually works. On the left-hand side, customers have a question. Common question that we get is, how do I customize an object? Agentforce will tap into Data Cloud. It'll search through all the unstructured data. It summarizes that information. And then through a response that we get, which is called a knowledge action, we'll summarize that information and we'll say, hey, you can customize an object in this way. But you'll also notice another action, which we call case creation and transfer. So if a customer needs any kind of human support because we didn't answer the question, it will smoothly hand them off saying, hey, I will transfer you to a support engineer. As you build your agentic strategy, thinking through the complete life cycle of the customer experience is really, really critical. All right. So within 4 weeks, we were ready. It was October 11th, and we went live on the help portal with a small group of authenticated users. We started small because we wanted to be very intentional about it. Even though we had tested it extensively, it was time for the real-world test. So the experience that we launched with was very similar to what I showed. You could ask a question in a natural language, and case creation was there, and it was backed by a human expert from one of our incredible support engineers. Now, as soon as we went live, the feedback started rolling in. And as is the case with any new technology, sometimes the feedback was great. Sometimes it was a little critical. But we didn't expect some things. One of the things that we didn't expect is if the guardrails were too strict, Agentforce would just go silent. This was really interesting. As an example, we set a rule up with Agentforce, and we said, hey, don't talk about competitor products. Except for one day, a customer asked, how do I integrate a competitor's product with Salesforce? And Agentforce just stopped responding. And it's not because we didn't have content. We actually had great content on that question. But the problem was we told Agentforce not to respond, so we had to adjust. Instead of blocking topics outright, we coached Agentforce. This is digital labor. You coach your humans, you've got to coach your agents. And we told it, Agentforce, you are a support engineer. Your job is to always act in the best interest of Salesforce. That small coaching change was a major unlock. Now, as usage increased, we started getting more and more questions. We started getting developer-related questions. We started getting Slack questions. The only challenge is all of that content lived on other portals and not on our help portal. So all we had to do was hydrate more data via Data Cloud by adding additional content sources, leveraging that unstructured data, and now Agentforce can answer developer and Slack-related questions like a pro. But the next evolution was structured data. Now, by leveraging structured data, we were able to make responses more accurate and relevant. And this is a game changer in the experience because we're able to personalize the experience now by tapping into our customer 360. Because we have richer context, Agentforce can go beyond general knowledge. For example, we're starting to see new questions emerge. Questions like, hey, what's the status of my support ticket? Or who is my account executive? By integrating structured data, Agentforce can answer those questions intelligently, and we're bringing a new way to think about AI-powered solutions. Now, we heard two things at this point. One, you're not moving fast enough. It could have been a little bit of internal encouragement. And two, your UI looked like an old school chatbot. So we started collaborating with several teams, like our design team, and 7 days later, we launched a new visualization that was more consumer grade and used to the experiences that a lot of individuals have with AI today. We didn't stop there. Remember, I told you that trust is our #1 value, and here's the thing. Trust is built on transparency. So in the spirit of transparency, we have now added our customer zero story, some of which I'm sharing with you today. But you can scan this QR code, learn more about video, documentation, and our metrics along the journey. And that's a great segue to our next topic, which is how are we thinking about the business of Agentforce, and how are we actually measuring its success? There's 3 main pillars on how we think about measuring success and performance. The first is looking at how customers are engaging with Agentforce, and this is really about the quantity. We want to really quantify the experience, how many conversations, how many initiations are happening. Then we're talking about how Agentforce is actually performing. We strongly believe that you cannot have good customer outcomes without a high-quality experience. So simple things like latency and queue time, that's going to eventually impact CSAT. So answer quality is really huge for Agentforce, and we can't help customers self-serve without very relevant and well-structured and accurate answers. So evaluating the quality is important. And finally, are we actually solving the customer's question? Are we helping them move towards an outcome? At the end of the day, we need to make sure customers are getting quality answers. And for a large amount of customer queries, we know that Agentforce is capable of handling this. Our Agentforce resolution helps us understand the impact at scale, and CSAT allows us to understand more specific sentiment and the quality of the experience. These are some actual metrics from just recently, from February and from March. Now, when we started with Agentforce, we started with just 244 conversations back in October, and we're now averaging between 28,000 and 32,000 conversations per week. We also really focused on a couple of other metrics like resolution rate and escalation rate. We started at 58%, and we're now at 86% for our resolution rate. And for our escalation rate, we started at 23%, and we're now down to 4%. And this is just within a few months. But there's one other important thing that I want you to look at. We're looking at how the agent experience is, but we're also looking at the human comparable. And as you think about agents, you could think about it like measuring the same level of work, and some of the metrics are going to be the same. So CSAT, you're going to show up in both. If you were to go launch a BDR agent, a business development representative agent, you would look at things like pipeline probably in both. It's digital labor. So this is really important as you think about launching your agents as well. We've learned a lot. The first thing that we learned is Agentforce, like a human, it's not perfect. It learns, it adapts. There's inputs and context. You cannot set it and forget it. There has to be ongoing governance. It's not just about dumping data. We needed to create a living, breathing knowledge cycle. We're continually trying to enhance Agentforce with better prompts, refining our guardrails, actions, and we rigorously are measuring things like quality and the quantity of those engagements. And this is a continuous loop of improvement on our journey to go build a smart support agent. But one of the most important lessons that we learned was that I believe each one of us in this room shares a common bond, that we want to deeply improve our customers' experience. You see, when we launched Agentforce, we knew that the technology was very powerful. When we built the agent, we focused on the knowledge cycle. We focused on delivering answers that were accurate and that they could be received in a fast and efficient way. We relied on structured and unstructured data. What we didn't realize is that we had the opportunity to change the service cycle. I want each of you for a moment to think about one individual on your teams back home. I want you to think about an architect, a CSM, a support engineer, a trainer. Think about somebody from your teams. What makes them special? I am sure that they are smart. I am sure that they have great answers. But the other thing that makes them special is how they deliver their service. When you deploy this technology, it's not just about the brain. It's not just about the knowledge cycle. You also have to focus on the heart. You have to focus on the service cycle as well. We had to teach the AI agent on how to respond to customers' emotions. Every single day, your organization deals in the moments that matter for your customers. Imagine that a customer calls in with a severity 1 incident and they have an outage. How you show up with urgency and empathy really does matter. The agent has to say, I am so sorry to hear that. I can only imagine how disruptive this is for your company. I will get you to a human as fast as possible. I can either connect you now to a live person through chat, or you could click on this link to go speak with somebody live. That response literally has nothing to do with the Sev1 outage. But how you show up in the moments that matter create important differentiations for you in the service cycle. You have to get started with both cycles from the beginning, the knowledge cycle and the service cycle from day one. Agents need a brain. They also need a heart. We've been moving fast, and we feel like we've only gotten started. I'm going to give 3 things that we're working on right now and to share those with you. The first is more personalization. So one of the things that I mentioned is we're seeing customers that are coming to us with a bunch of new questions that we can answer through structured data. Things like, hey, what Salesforce products do I own? How much storage do I have left? When is my renewal? These are questions that we can answer, but historically, when you've called into support, you actually haven't asked those questions. These are questions that we're now starting to see, because with Agentforce, we're creating a frictionless experience, and it makes sense that we're starting to see those questions being asked. So we're building new actions to answer those questions that are structured. Translations. Our vision, like I said at the top, is to deliver in 50 languages that is backed by live human chat. It's a great example where Agentforce isn't just about taking out cost. It's about creating a differentiated service experience. And finally, voice. Now, it may come as a surprise to some of you, but 81% of service professionals say that voice is a preferred channel, especially for complex issues. Here's the catch. Some of those systems can be stuck in the past. They lead to long hold times and a lot of cost as well. This is where AI agents via voice can make a new differentiated experiences. And it's really important for a lot of companies who are trying to stay differentiated to create new and great experiences for their customer. And that's where we're headed next. So I want to spend a little bit more time talking about voice. We've all had different consumer brand experiences. I can think of experiences that I've had where I've had to call into an IVR queue. I've had to hit a bunch of buttons, like an account number as an example. And then I go to the next question where I have to hit in more buttons and things of that nature. And then when you finally do get a human, you could be bounced from one human to the next. I think we've all experienced customer situations as a consumer that aren't great experiences. And what do customers want, whether it's B2B or B2C? They want help, they want solutions, they want resolutions. Now here's the good news, it does not have to be that way. I'm gonna share a demo with you with one of our colleagues, Patrick Stokes. He's the EVP of our product and our industry's marketing team on how we're using AI voice agents in a traditional customer service experience setting. And the demo is with one of our customers, Saks Fifth Avenue, and it will transform their business. Let's roll the film.
Mentioned that Saks used Agentforce to build a new AI agent, and they did that in just a little bit over a week. And so they call this agent Sophie. What I want to do now is give Sophie a call and see if the experience is any different, hopefully a little bit better. So let's do that. All right, there's Sophie.
Hi, I'm Sophie, your Saks AI assistant. How can I help you today?
Yeah, hey Sophie, this is Patrick. I'm wondering if you can help me with my most recent order. I think I might have gotten the wrong size.
I'm sorry to hear that, Patrick. I'm happy to help. Is this regarding the Saks Collection Seed Stitch crew neck sweater you purchased last Saturday?
Yeah, it sure is. I think it might be just a little bit too small.
I'm sorry the sizing didn't work out. Based on your purchase history, a size medium should provide a relaxed fit. How does that sound?
That sounds pretty good. One question though, is it gonna shrink?
This sweater is 100% fine Italian wool, so we recommend dry cleaning only to preserve the integrity of the fibers and avoid any risks of shrinking. Would you like to go with a medium?
Yeah, fine Italian wool. That sounds great. Yeah, let's do the medium.
Great. Based on your shipping address, you should receive it within 3 to 5 business days. Does that work?
Ooh, no, actually, I've got a party coming up in just a couple days that I was hoping to wear it to. Is there any way that we could get it to me a little bit faster?
Unfortunately, that's the fastest shipping available for this item. Would you like me to transfer you to someone who can assist you further?
No, that's okay for now, Sophie. Thanks. Okay.
What a different experience than maybe a consumer brand experience that we've all dealt with. And I think the thing that I enjoyed the most out of Patrick's demo is that he just started talking. He just started describing his problem. He didn't have to listen, he didn't have to interpret a menu, he didn't have to type in a bunch of buttons, and Sophie knew exactly who Patrick was, and that's the cool thing about Agentic AI and Agentforce. Agentforce knows who the customers are, and that was a really great experience. So we've come a long way. We talked about the digital labor revolution. We talked about how we went out and built Agentforce. We talked about some of the metrics, and we also shared where we're headed. There's one really important thing that we've not talked about. We've not talked about our people. Now, Agentforce and agents in general can be disruptive, not just for our customers, but for our employees, because it offers unmatched opportunities. This is really important. And I could not think of anyone better than my friend Sanjeev Balakrishnan to talk about how we're going through and managing this transformation with our teams. Now, Sanjeev joined Salesforce in 2006. He's spent his entire career inside of our customer success group. He started out as a CSM, he's led the support organization, started our critical incident center, and today he oversees a team of 6,000 people that ranges from our support team, our training teams, our architect teams, and more. I invited him here today to talk about his team and the human-centered change element of AI agents. Please help me welcome my friend, my colleague, and my fellow Floridian, Sanjeev Balakrishnan.
Are you ready for it? I was a robber, first time that he saw me, stealing hearts and running off and never saying sorry. But if I'm a thief, then he can join the heist.
All right, Sanjeev. Now, you and I have talked about this, but our CEO, Mark Benioff, he's been on a little bit of a podcast tour, and he's talked publicly about how Agentic AI gives us the opportunity to redeploy support roles elsewhere in our company. I can only imagine how the first set of questions goes with your team. So talk to the audience about how your team has reacted to this.
First of all, thank you, TSIA, for having me here. It's great to be here. No, it's a great question. But before I get into the details, in your presentation, you touched upon trust being our #1 value. And it's not just a value. We are a company that's grounded in values. And it's not just how we engage with our customers, how we offer our products to our customers, but it's also how we internalize and how we run our operations with our employees as well. So when this messaging came about, also when we started launching Agentforce as a product, we decided that we will lead with trust and transparency. But what does that actually mean? So we double down on communication. See, there's a lot of uncertainty. Thomas, during his presentation, aptly said that these are unprecedented times. The technology or transformation landscape is changing not in weeks, it's in hours, in days. Every day there's something new coming out. So it's critical that we are leading with transparency, we are communicating with our teams that, hey, this transformation is real. I tell my team all the time that, hey, in my professional lifetime, this is probably the single most biggest transformation that I will probably be a part of. And it's exciting. Let's not worry or fear about what can happen, but let's embrace that opportunity because it's also an exciting opportunity because you can tell your kids or grandkids that, hey, when that AI revolution happened, I was in the middle of it and I was able to navigate that agentic transformation or guiding the teams through that agentic transformation. So communication is key. The second thing is up-leveling our skill. If you look at all the transformation that has happened over the last couple of decades, no matter internet revolution and all that created a disruption or changed the way workforce approached work. Like it required new skills, new opportunities came about, and this will also bring some new opportunities and new skills. So one of the things that we are also spending a lot of time is up-leveling the skills that are needed. One of the things, as you all know, we have Trailhead, which is our learning platform, and when Agentforce product got launched, we launched a lot of new certification. And these certifications are free for everybody, no matter which part of the world you are, and it's free for till rest of this year. But our teams are also embracing and taking those trainings and up-leveling their skills, being those agent blazers, which we want all of you and our employees to be. And the third one is we work with our employee success teams, which is HR, and we launched a portal called Career Connect. It's an internal portal for all my team members, 6,000 of them. They have a profile. They can highlight what are their strengths, what profiles they have, what skills they have. So if anybody else is hiring, no matter what department, if there is a skills match or a fitment, they can tap into the talent that I have in my team. So basically, to answer your questions, we have been very proactive. We led with trust and transparency, and we are very open about it that, hey, things are changing. It will change and impact the workforce. But if we are proactive about it, if we have the right skills, we will be much better positioned when those times happens to give them better opportunities across the organization. And that's how we are approaching it. A lot of people actually acknowledge and came to me and appreciated that we may not have all the answers as leadership, but at least we are being proactive about it.
You talked a lot about the transformation. How are you trying to keep your teams motivated during that transformation?
It's hard, right? As humans, when you hear like something profound as, hey, AI is going to take away your jobs, it's very hard to be motivated, right? But, as I said, embrace the opportunity and not, by fear is how I respond to that. And what we are doing is we are getting the product in the hands of our employees so they can not only up-leveling and getting certified, but they also are, playing around with Agentforce so they can see what the potential is there and get them excited. So that's one key thing that I learned is giving them hands-on access to the product really helps. The other one is, you may be surprised, and I was actually surprised at how little or less they know of the opportunities that are beyond their swim lane or in support. They have never bothered to figure out what a day in the life looks like for a different organization or something. So we're bringing them those opportunities and educating and exposing them that, hey, these kind of profiles and skill may be a great fit in these organizations as well. So that kind of exposure and education work is happening. And the third one is giving them the time and space and the opportunity and platform to ask questions, because I know there's a lot of things happening and a lot of things happening fast, but where can they go with that question? So they need office hours, roundtables. So we are doing a lot more of them than we have ever done before, mainly because I do believe we want to take care of our biggest asset, which is our people.
Now, I shared with everyone earlier some of the stunning results that we've seen in just a few months. You know, we've resolved now 86%, we're at resolution rate, and only 4% of those requests are going to humans. How do you think about the long-term vision of the role of our human agents as AI capabilities advance more and more?
Yeah, the early results have been very promising and far exceeded my expectations as well, but it shows you the potential of Agentforce. So the way I think about humans in the long run is, A, humans will continue to handle a lot more complex cases requiring deep expertise. My team handled more than 2.2 million cases last year, and we are sitting in a lot of data that can actually help take that voice of the customer and influence the product roadmap to be that stronger liaison into and take that feedback into product and engineering is where I think humans play a bigger role, or will have the time to play that bigger role. The second one is in a traditional self-service, you of course spend time creating content, knowledge articles to improve self-service. In the agentic experience, we have to do the same thing, but you have to have prompt tweaking, prompt engineering. So they have to learn to make sure the Agentforce results are effective and actually solving the problem, so we need to spend time. The third thing is where we are spending a lot of time around the metrics. When I say metrics, it's not how we measure a human. It's about when a digital agent transfers a case to a human agent, how long does it take? Is the human available 24/7? Because the digital agent never sleeps. We want to make sure it's a consistent experience. And the third one is very hard, which is, let's say I go to Agentforce and I ask a set of questions. I go back and forth. But then I say, as a customer, I want to talk to a human, and it transfers to a human. All that transcript and summary has to hand over seamlessly to a human, and we also need to track how much time they are taking to read all that so they don't ask the same question. So these are new things that we are making sure that it's seamless and the experience of the customer gets better. But I do believe, and the last thing is also, like you mentioned in your presentation, we have 200,000 customers. I have 6,000 people to serve all these 200,000 plus customers. It's hard. But as the reactive volume goes down, I can do more proactive work where I can go to our customers and help them no matter what stage of the journey they are in. And that opportunity is unique, which allows not just elevate the level of customer service, but also allowing my employees to do more impactful and meaningful work and touching customers in more, no matter what stage of the journey they are in.
Now, Sanjeev, one of the things that we talked about was we're starting to see customers ask new kinds of questions to Agentforce, questions maybe that they wouldn't traditionally ask our support engineers. Questions like, hey, who's my account executive? What are you learning about our customers that's applicable to other parts of our business?
No, it's very fascinating. How many of you get up in the morning to talk to a support engineer or a support agent? Nobody does. I don't, though I run a support organization. And even if you have to, would you call them and put in the effort to, hey, tell me who's my sales guy? You will never do that. But if you have an Agentforce which can answer that question, or you can, through voice, ask something simple as that, and it gives you a response in seconds, you will do it. And that's what we found out when we launched Agentforce within the first few weeks. And that's where Data Cloud became our savior, because we had a Data Cloud implementation where we had ingested all the knowledge articles, documentation, which was able to answer all the technical questions. But we hadn't thought about these kind of questions because we didn't think that customers would ask, because we never saw cases like that. So So we had to bring in that data, but what it actually helped us is it allowed us to open the doors to provide a personalized experience. Now, whether you're in B2B, whether you're B2C, whether you're a customer, whether you're a consumer, one thing humans like, which is personalized service, and using Data Cloud, Agentforce is able to have the user context to provide that personalized experience. Now, that has opened a huge new opportunity for us because our North Star is not just give you a personalized experience, but use that user context to actually proactively prescribe you the right recommendation. It can be an onboarding engagement. Hey, welcome to Salesforce. Would you like to get onboarded? Or hey, looks like you created 5 cases on the same topic. Would you like me to sign you up for a training or something? So things like that you can do with recommendations, but for that we needed the personalized context, and that's what we are able to now get through Data Cloud.
Sanjeev, I just want to thank you so much for helping share our story, and thanks everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.